Hello everyone and welcome to the CSS Selector series for the testers. In this particular tutorial, we will learn about the Descendant Selectors. So let's begin. So what is the Descendant Selector? So Descendant Selector is basically used to select an element that is a descendant, which is nested inside another element. Now it doesn't matter how deep the element is nested. As long as it lies inside the parent element, it can be targeted. So let me write it down here. So selector is used to select an element that is descendant, which is nested basically. So nested inside an other element. Now it does not matter how deep the element is nested. Okay, so descendant element is used for an element which is nested inside another element, and it doesn't matter how deep that element is nested. Okay, now question here arises that when you should use this one. So you need to use it when the target element is inside another element, not necessarily a direct child. Okay, so you can use it when the target element is inside another element, but it is not necessary a direct child. Okay, then it is best for deeply nested structures like tables, forms, and lists. So best for deeply nested structures like tables, forms, and lists. So let me correct the spellings from here. Best for deeply nested structures. Let me correct this one. Structures. Okay, like tables, forms, and lists. And helpful when multiple elements exist, but you want to select one inside a specific parent. Obviously, the table has multiple rows and columns, so there are multiple elements, right? So let me show you this example practically. Let's go to the browser over here. And here, if I scroll down, so we have this table, right? So if I go here and inspect this element, so you see that this is a table. Inside that, we have multiple TRs. Inside the TRs, we have multiple TDs, right? Now, here, this particular, for example, this John Doe is basically a descendant element for this particular table. So using this parent table, what we will do is that we will locate this one uniquely. So how you can do that? So this particular table has an ID. So what we will do is that, you know that for ID we use hash, and you will go with the employee table. So you see that the employee table has been selected. Now this is the parent one. Now inside that we have this tbody. Inside that we have tr, and then we have td and td. Okay. So what I'll do is that space tbody. So you see that now the area is shortened. Okay. If you select this one, it actually highlights the whole table over here. If you go here, you see that it only highlights this particular area where we have the data. Now we need to traverse more. We say tr, and you see that when I type the tr, so this is the tr. Okay, again, this is a tr, this is a tr, right? And it says 1 of the 4. Now, problem here is that when I reach the tr, there are 4 table rows. Okay, but what I want is that I want this first, tr. So how I can do this? So simply I say tr colon first dash child. So now I have navigated this particular child and now it's 1 of 1. After that, this we are now going inside this one. Here you see that we have this td and this td. So we need to go to the second td here in order to locate this John, right? So again, the same, we will say td, right, colon nth dash child, and this is the second child. Now you see that we have successfully uniquely identified this particular element, and here we are basically using an approach which is a descendant selector. Okay, and you see that there are multiple childs, but using this descendant approach, we can look at any of the descendants which are part of the parent one. Okay, now let me show you another example over here, and let me go here. For example, we have these programming languages, right? And here, and if I go here, simply if I need to look at this Java over here, so you see that this is basically under the OL, okay, list basically. And inside this, we have these options, right? So again, using the same principle, I will say again here, the parent has an ID, so I will say hash programming list. Now the whole programming list has been selected, and after that I need to go to the descendant element, and here this is the third one. So what I'll do is that I will give a space li, and then I will say nth dash child, and I want to select the third child. Again, here you can see that we have successfully identified this particular element uniquely using the descendant selector. Again, let me summarize the descendant selector for you. So it is used when an element is descendant nested inside another element. It does not matter how deep the element is nested. So by deep means doesn't matter where it's located. So if I go here you see that it's deep nested over here, right? And now what we are saying that this can be targeted when the element is inside another element and not necessarily a direct child. It's not necessarily that it should be a directly child. So in my first example, it was not a direct child. Okay. And now in the interviews, the interviewer might ask you, what is the best time when you can use this one? So basically, you can use this one when the element is deeply nested structures. So when there's a deeply structured nested like tables, forms, and lists, then in this case, you should be using the descendant selector.